It's so easy to say no, that you don't want to do something because it's scary and it's hard, right? And when you're able to just kind of move just an inch to be able to do whatever that thing is towards it. And so for me, it was just recording on Zoom, right? And then it was uploading it to the podcast. And then all of a sudden I published it, but it wasn't visible to other people. And then it was syncing it on Spotify. And so that's how I work people through it, is in my community, I actually have these dares. And it's 3 words, and it's basically saying, I dare you. And it's nothing crazy. It's just like small enough to get them to want to do it.
All right, it is Q1 of 2024. That means new goals, more growth, and upgrading your day-to-day workflow. That's why I want to talk to you today about the HubSpot Sales Hub. This thing is basically an all-in-one platform to help you get out of that muck of scheduling everything manually, digging through data, tracking down leads, probably not following up with things. Sales Hub will flip everything on its head. This thing's an easy-to-use suite of powerful tools. It's going to help you convert contacts into customers quicker, accelerate sales with smart sequences, manage deals with simple and powerful tools, and help you forecast a lot smarter. It actually uses this new AI-powered app called ChatSpot. It combines ChatGPT with HubSpot Smart CRM. Basically, you can ask this thing to create more revenue for you and deliver it as well. So you can ask it to track down contacts, competitors, summarize sales, and actually draft emails for you. So now's the time to close more deals and get on track. Make Q1 your best yet. Explore the new HubSpot Sales Hub and AI tools like ChatSpot at HubSpot.com/sales. Hey, what's happening? This episode here is with a friend of mine who I feel like has cracked the code for anyone that's trying to put a message out into the world. Maybe you feel like you have something that you have to say. You want to write a book, you want to start a podcast, you want to do some videos for YouTube, or start a community and have that whole feel of impact and rallying the troops around you. Well, my friend Stacey Lauren is here to give you that formula, and I feel like it works. I've been using it. I've actually learned it from her as well. She's walked me through it, and I'm putting it into action as well. And what she's going to do is lay out exactly what it is. It's called I'm Game is her formula, but I'll let her break it down. And Stacey, this is like what she does. She literally has a podcast called Do the Thing. And her mantra is not to do it perfect. It's literally to do the thing. And she does it in a way that doesn't feel difficult. It's these micro steps, and it's empowering, and it gets you approaching things differently. And I feel like it can be applied to pretty much anything. So let's just get into it. I'm going to have Stacey walk you through this. I think you're going to enjoy it. So I'll see you there. Stacey, we're here. So like you and I, how many years have we known each other? It's been a while.
I feel like it's been like over 10 years.
Probably. Yeah. It's not like we've always been in touch in this 10 years, but yeah, local group here in San Diego. Shout out to Henry Evans. What's up, my buddy? So he's, he brought us and many friends together and in a mastermind group there, right, together as well. So, but you had a whole separate business back then, Stacey, that was in doing a whole different thing. And I'm curious about that. Not really the details of what that was, but there was obviously a transition time that led you to this. I don't know if it's bigger and greater. I feel like it might have more impact. You did great things prior to. Give us like a quick little synopsis, I guess, of kind of what led you to doing the thing, where you're at now with your podcast and brand.
So I had a staffing company for 20 years and, hustled, exhaustion, 60 employees, lots of offices, managing people, hiring staff, helping companies with their bottlenecks for hiring staff as well, and went through recession, COVID, lawsuits, all kinds of stuff that you had to keep overcoming from. And then soon after COVID, I decided to exit that business. And then I wanted to write a book, and it was going to be on sales and helping people overcome the fear of selling. Because when I had the staffing company, I kept seeing all of these people that were just trapped by their own mental baggage, where they wanted to make more money, but they weren't willing to go outside of a recruiter role and actually get into a sales position, which is where they could have gotten more incentives and bonuses. And so that's when I was like all excited about writing this book. And then during the mastermind with our mutual friend, Henry, was when I was talking about this book. Everyone was really excited about me writing a book on sales and overcoming the fear. And that's when I just started talking about the skills that it takes with sales. And I kept saying doing the thing. And over and over again, I would listen to the message, and I think I still even have it. And I kept saying, I just want to help people do the thing. And that's where the idea of do the thing came from. And that's where I was writing the book. And then it turned into the podcast, which then turned into a community and all the other stuff after that.
Yeah, I love how natural, organic it is. So you exited that business, and yeah, and essentially like that gap, was that kind of you also finding like a new path for yourself? Like in that moment, obviously you were writing the book, you did all this, but it's like it's kind of unknown, it sounds like, to where this thing was going to lead.
Yeah, honestly, I was lost. I just had this business for 20 years and I had been divorced a few years before and just kind of went into this identity crisis of having all this noise with all the employees and all the fires I had to put out. And then all of a sudden there was nothing.
Hmm.
And it was just terrifying because all of a sudden you're alone with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
It was like,
You're in a bubble with your own emotions.
yeah. And so I had a coach at the time who thankfully said, don't open up any businesses for a year. Because, we're
Smart.
entrepreneurs, right? Like that's all we want to do then is put all that energy into something else. And so during that time, I'm exploring, I wanted to start this ready to drink alcohol business. I thought of doing a dating app. I thought of doing retreat centers and e-commerce. And I was like exploring all these things. And then that's where the book started, the podcast started. I was doing it more as a hobby in the beginning.
When it comes to figuring out what is that thing, finding your voice is part of it. I know that you train about, but it's like, is there something that stood out for you first of like when you were searching on finding your voice or finding the avenue that was like holding you back, and then how you overcame that?
I realized I really even though I had owned this business, I was still hiding. I was holding myself back. Like I wouldn't do any kind of public facing things. I was very private. And
Yeah.
people would ask me to speak at their association or to do something for their company. And I just wanted to stay in my bubble of my company, And so when I started the podcast, I noticed that came up again where I didn't want to publish it. And I think that was it. It was like, I can actually talk about it in the first episode of my podcast, Do the Thing, is that I had this own mental baggage with, actually putting myself out there.
It's crazy. I know the feeling, especially when you're talking to yourself, and like you're starting, you're just getting your thoughts out. Obviously, publishing with someone else kind of forces you to publish it, or if you're interviewing someone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like the struggle of yeah, just press publish, right? It's like just put it out there. Like, how do you coach people through that hesitation moment?
It's so easy to say no, that you don't want to do something because it's scary and it's hard, right? And when you're able to just kind of move just an inch to be able to do whatever that thing is towards it. And so for me, it was just recording on Zoom, right?
Mm.
And then it was uploading it to the podcast. And then all of a sudden I published it, but it wasn't visible to other people. And then it was syncing it on Spotify. And so that's how I work people through it is in my community, I actually have these dares. And it's 3 words, and it's basically saying, I dare you. And it's nothing crazy. It's just like small enough to get them to want to do it, And
I
so
dare you.
that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing is just, you don't need to, fly to the moon tomorrow. You could just, first research if you want to go there and just start with these little things. But then you've got to keep it going. You can't just do the one thing. You've got to keep doing these micro steps. And that's how it's going to compound where you'll get in momentum. And that's how you'll be able to actually finally do the thing you want to do.
I love that. It's powerful. I dare you. And, I mean, like we all grew up like as kids, it's like I dare you to do whatever. It's like, yeah, we've all been faced with those moments, but it's almost like, yeah, when you tell yourself that, you're like, oh, I dare you to do this. It's like it's not a common thing. I would imagine that we tell ourselves, right?
I think that's what helps people do it because it sort of just like shakes them up, and it adds a little bit layer of fun. So I always try to make things fun for people. And that's what I encourage anyone listening. If you're doing something right now, it is not fun. You need to find a way to make it fun because
Yeah.
otherwise, why are you doing it? And just to backtrack, you were asking me earlier about just even doing the thing. I think that's what happened with the podcast is as I was activating my voice, I really started to tap in even more to who I was. And it was really by like maybe the 10th episode, I realized that I've always done the thing, but I didn't do it because I wanted to do it. I did it because I thought people wanted me to, or that's what they expected me to. And so do the thing sort of has evolved a lot over the last year and a half, where originally, I mean, I even
Yeah.
had my intro was this like rock guy, like do the thing, you know, and now it's more of a gentle, like do the thing that you want to do that's coming inside of you. Find your own voice, tap into that, and then bring that out in the world.
And it's powerful because I feel like everyone has we have something inside of us that we want to leave an impact or put out there, express. I've talked about it a lot here, but that's where you and I have talked a lot. And then like I can't think of anyone better other than you in the way that you're activating people to, I guess, figure out what is the thing, right? Like it's almost like awareness of like what the heck do you want out of this whole thing? But then it's like, okay, well, it is up to you or us or me, to actually do the thing, like whatever that is, the first step, and then the next step, and then the next step. So maybe you can walk us through the framework a little bit as like something, or at least like frame it in a way where, like the I dare you is one thing. At the same time, it's like, don't we have to notice like what's the thing, I guess, and
Yeah.
realize that there's some hang up that we got to get.
Yeah, so I have a challenge. It's called Find Your Voice. And basically, it's just getting people to take out their phone and just either record on camera or just do a voice recording. And anyone could do this at home. So that's why I'm telling you guys right now, do
Good.
this now, is just take out your phone and just ask yourself a question. It could be something like, what is something I'm good at? Or what kind of advice do I like giving? And what happens is when you get to speak to it and you're recording it, there's something different. And you probably know this is like when you have the mic on,
Oh yeah.
it's like a whole different experience and you're able to speak in a way that maybe you haven't before. And one of the things I really like to tell people is don't just stop there. Then ask yourself the question, what else is there? And so it's kind of like when I'm doing a vision thing and I'm actually, it's funny, Henry, one time I sent him a voice note for you guys listening. He's the one that runs the mastermind and did the networking group that Joe and I were a part of. And he noticed it and I sent him a voice note about all my dreams, and he was like, oh, I love how you said dream, Stacey, dream. So I basically started doing that. When I do dreams or anything, I'm basically saying, all of my dreams. And I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And I'll go all this way. And then I'm activating my subconscious even more by
Yeah.
asking myself the question to keep going on. And that's what I would suggest for anyone listening to do is really get in there and see it. And then it's cool because then you have the recording and you can
Mm.
listen to it. But there's something about the mic. I noticed that I do street interviews when I travel. I go to like, if I went to New York once and Italy and where else did I do it? In England, London.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my daughter and I did these street interviews. And as soon as you give someone the mic, they're like Tony Robbins, It's like they have no idea what's inside of them until they start talking to a microphone. It's really interesting.
That is a good point. It's a good distinction that I mean, we all have the phone. So I mean, like you're suggesting what, like, would you say it's more powerful to actually like video, like record as you're looking at it? Like, do you have I have a tool that I have in my mind right now that I would recommend, but I'm curious from your side first, like, what's the mechanism look like? Is there one that's better than others?
I love this question. So this is a whole do the thing strategy it's whatever you can do,
Perfect.
because like it's people get so hung up in video, audio,
Hmm.
it's like whatever you're able to do it. But yeah, it's cool because that's the accidental part of Find Your Voice is it helps people get comfortable on camera, and not even
Yeah.
comfortable, but they're showing who they are on camera now and they're going live because it sort of evolved where they want to keep hitting their comfort zones and being able to stretch it. So I would say if you start, let's say you can only do it typing right now and you're not comfortable even recording yourself, even if no one else is listening,
Yeah.
just at least write out the answer to that question. And then you do another comfort zone circle and you're like, okay, now I'm going to record it. And then you record it on your phone. And then another day you can actually take a video. And then another day,
Mm.
dare yourself to go live.
See that one I bet trips people up. But at the same time, I remember doing these things back in the day before I was comfortable on camera. I would remember on my phone, it's like, be a friend of the red light or the green light or whatever shows up now or back then. I don't know, it was a long time ago. But Yeah, it's like befriend the camera. You are your friend. I don't know,
Exactly.
it's all this thing. But like I'll tell you the app that I have in mind. I don't know if I told you about it. It's called the Oasis
Mm,
.com, theoasis.com. It's a very inexpensive app, but basically you can record into it, ramble thoughts, but really you're just like expressing thoughts, and it actually helps put them into an order, into like it could make it into a blog post, into social media posts, into emails, into all these different outputs. And but really the source is you capturing your thoughts, you recording your expression, whatever that is inside your head. It kind of helps facilitate even more content based off of you doing the thing, initially with just recording.
it's incredible. Yeah, that's so I can't wait to check it out because, yeah, when
Yeah.
you're able to just I mean, I call it throwing up.
That's pretty much what it is.
It's
Yeah.
great, right? It's almost
Yeah.
like sloppy copy. I heard,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh
heard
yeah.
about that. It's the same thing where you get to just kinda, like, get it out. And what it does, though and for anyone listening, like, it's freeing. When you
Yeah.
can if your mind is doing that thing where it's spinning or it's having self-doubt or you're getting into perfectionism, whatever it is, when you get all that noise out of your head and you're able to speak to it, it has a place now that it can
Mm,
live and it's no longer in your head and that leaves your mind open for whatever else is going to come through. So it's really a great way. I can't wait to check it out because that then will conceptualize all those things that are coming out of your head. Sometimes you may not want to.
bingo. Well, you even mentioned, you're like, I like the way you think, Joe. Like how your brain works, and
Oh
that whole
yeah.
like B2C, B2B thing. I was talking about like just the framing of selling and who you're selling to and how that can change the game from like expenses to investment and all these perceptions. That was purely because I spoke it out. And like if I kept that in my brain, it would probably just be gone for a one.
Yeah.
But the fact that I spoke it out into there, I actually spoke it out to some friends of mine, partners, and then it was written out. So I kind of reread it in a format that was more condensed, rather than my 15-minute ramble. It turned into like, here's a short email or a concise explain it like I'm five. Like, oh, it just simplified my thoughts for me. Then
Yeah.
it started to like really lock things in. I'm like, oh, and now I'd feel confident like sharing it with you, sharing it on here. Like it just started off as a crazy idea or some concept in my mind until you hit record.
Isn't that great? Yeah. When you can
Yeah,
turn something that feels very messy, and then it comes into this visual thing, it almost like it gives it a
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have another just really key thing that I do for any challenge or
yeah,
any program that I'm doing that's been really helpful in getting people out of that mental baggage. And
perfect. Yeah, yeah.
part of it is part of this. I have this formula to help people do the thing, which is basically like helping them take action on the things they want. And it's called I'm Game. It's an acronym. Each letter identifies a piece of the formula, and it
Ooh,
stands for
all right.
something. So the M is mindset, and so the M in I'm is mindset. And so under mindset, I have everyone do. I dare you. What are
Uh-huh.
your excuses for not being able to do this thing? Whether it's dating or starting a book, starting a podcast, building an audience, whatever program challenge I'm doing. And then they not only say what their excuses are, they say how they're going to overcome their excuses. Because when you're doing something new, you're always going to run into one of those excuses. It's going to come, I mean, I'm running into it now. It's going to come up against you and say, this is why I don't want to do it, because it's scary
That's
when
right.
you're putting yourself in and with doing a new thing. And so when you're able to predetermine how you're going to handle it while you're still excited about it and you're not burning energy in the moment, it just frees you up to be able to do everything that you're doing. And so anyone can do
Yeah.
that at home. So before you do anything new, or if you're in the middle of starting a new adventure, just ask yourself, what are my excuses for not being able to do it? And then come up with the reasons why you're going to be able to get through them.
That's really smart. And yeah, it makes so much sense because you have this flow. I mean, you're literally in a flow when you have an idea, and you're yes anding yourself, right? You're not coming up with objections or brick walls between you and whatever that vision is. It's it's really up to you at that point, and it's a perfect time to, yeah, it seems like, yeah, put all the objections out there. What are the small thinkings that can come up? that could stop my flow. Hey, I just want to pause this episode really fast and shout out a podcast that's also on the HubSpot podcast network, the audio destination for business professionals. This one's a podcast that's hosted by someone I've followed for years. The name is Donald Miller. He has the whole Story brand book and all the different stuff online. He hosts the podcast called Business Made Simple. The premise is to basically take the mystery out of growing your business. And he recently had on, one of the other guys I follow is Alex Hermosi. And right at the beginning of the year, they're talking about facing uncertainty in your business. And Alex and Donald, they talk about different ways, 4 different ways to basically shore up your business to ride the uncertain times that inherently are the ones we're living in 2024. So make sure to go check that out. Go listen to Business Made Simple, that episode with Alex Hermosi, but also the other ones, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're looking to unlock some more income and time freedom, then I want to tell you about Kartra. It's the ultimate all-in-one business platform for online success. Now with Kartra, you can create stunning pages and funnels, you can automate your marketing, launch online courses, and a bunch more, all in one place for one affordable price. Now, Kartra has every tool you need to scale. It's super easy to use. And right now, you can snag a free 30-day trial plus a 20% discount on your first payment when you use this URL. It's www.hustleandflowchart.com/Kartra. Again, that is hustleandflowchart.com/KARTRA. I guess like when it says, the I'm game kind of thing, like, can you walk me through that acronym?
Yeah, I would love to. So the I in I'm is identify the why, which is basically, we all know Simon Sinek with the TEDx talk in the book, and the why is so important. But a lot of people don't realize you have to do it in order for it to work. Like, because I've done that where I've done programs or I've done different things and I'm like, I know my why. I'm not going to do my why. But when you know it's part of an actual formula and system, it helps you do it. And so that's the first step. And then the M in I'm is mindset. And my 2 key mindset hacks are the one that I mentioned earlier, which is the what are your excuses and how you're going to overcome them. And then the other one, actually, I'm remembering now, I mentioned earlier, which is fun. So making sure you have fun while you're doing it. So those are my 2 favorite ones. And then also I would say not getting hung up that whatever you're doing that's new has to be forever. Because I think that's what a lot of us hold back on. And we're like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's going to trap me, but you don't realize, unless you're joining the military or something, but like, you don't realize,
have to, yeah.
You don't realize that you could just, start something and then do one round of it and then decide if you want to keep doing it. So, And then the G in game is goals. And for do the thing, the goal is the dare. So that gives them just a quick action that they can do. The other thing I like to help people with is people get stuck on the goal. Like it just even SMART goals, right? Like we've been trained that for so long. My suggestion is if you don't know specifically what you want to do, just have a rough draft goal, have an idea of what you want to do. And then that's where those micro actions come in, because then you could just do little pieces of that goal. And then you're eventually able to get there. And then the A in game is accountability. And so that's where I've been having so much fun exploring accountability, because I think that's one of the key things that really helps people. And I just watched your Sally podcast.
Sally Ups.
Oh man, that was so good. And that idea of you proclaiming it, right, to the world, saying you were doing it. And now you're encouraging people to post videos about it. That's a whole another level of accountability. And so I love social accountability. I think that works really well. There's some people that are really internally motivated, but I think there's lesser of them than people that need the help. And then the M in game is my people. And a lot of people think that my people is like-minded people, but it's different. I love like-minded people. Those are like supportive and encouraging people that you want in your life. You're the average of the 5 people you're around. So I have those people. I love them. But my people are people that are doing the same thing as you. They have the same goal, they have the same interests, and they're working towards that. And an example of that is if you want to run a marathon and you have supportive and encouraging friends, they're not going to help you run the marathon as if you joined a running group and you're around other runners. And so That's
It
the
lifts up, yeah,
end.
all the
Yeah.
ships lift up. It's like I'm in a men's group and, like, that's where we bounce ideas. That's where the Sally Up thing, there's actually a challenge in
Oh,
that group, so it's like everybody's doing it and then posting
yeah.
it and then yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I know, I was so excited when I saw that. I'm like, "I wanna try that."
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, and then the E in game is educate, and when it started, I thought educate was just gonna be, like, learning from podcasts, videos, mentors, coaches, but what I realized through researching this more is it's really also there's another part, which is educating others, and
Mhm.
that's kinda like what you're doing, what people in my community do, where they're getting to help other people once they learn things, and so for anyone listening, like you only have to be 2 weeks ahead of someone in order to teach it, really 3 days ahead of someone in order to teach it.
It's true.
Then it gives you the contribution and this feeling of purpose, right? Which then fills you up and it helps you keep doing it. And so that's pretty much the formula. And I would say if you guys were going to take one thing from that right now, it would be to find my people. That would be my first step is find the people that are doing the same thing. And then you can do all those other things
Yeah.
with people.
That's a good point. No, it's like find my people. That's immediately. I feel like there's an energy thing to it. Not to get. It's not a woo woo thing. It's literally. It's like we feel better when we're having conversations around whatever that thing burning in us is. Even if we haven't identified it, it's like we feel a little more like I'm with my people. Like I've landed here in the right spot. Whatever.
Yeah, and it, like, gives you, it helps you just kind of, like, see yourself in other people,
Yeah.
because when you're stretching your comfort zone and you're putting yourself out in the world, whatever it is, whether you're dating, starting a podcast, wanting to start a business, any of that stuff, it's so easy to get into that doubt, imposter syndrome, all these things, and when you're around other people that are doing it too, you're able to be vulnerable and see that they're doing it, and
Yeah.
that really inspires and encourages you to be able to keep going.
This is something that I feel like comes up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but monetizing the thing. Like I feel like like there's I don't know if everybody's an entrepreneur with who you have, but I feel like, if someone's starting a podcast or putting content out there, putting themselves out there, there might be a business behind it. So, like, have you found a key thing that helps someone monetize their passion or themselves, that expression that can then turn into a business venture, maybe a new one or a variation of what they got?
I mean, the biggest thing that I learned, because when I wasn't doing Do the Thing for a business, it started as just a passion project and really just research for my book. Once I dissected the formula on my podcast, I wanted to test it in the community I wanted to test it through doing these challenges. And that's how I was able to continue to test the formula. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, this could be a business. Okay,
Yeah.
let me do that. And what was funny was right after I did a start a podcast challenge, I tried to monetize it and I sent out emails after saying, oh, by the way, I'm going to do this thing. And some people bought, but it wasn't as many as I thought. I thought it was going to be this huge thing that would
Mm.
happen. And that's when I learned to sell one to many,
Yeah.
which is to me kind of a really great way, not only to sell, but to validate your offers of whatever you're doing. So, like, let's say you want to sell e commerce, or you want to sell programs, you want to sell challenges, whatever you want to sell. When you have an audience that you're able to work with, then whether they buy or not, that helps you basically be able to tell if it's something that's going to go to market or not before you do all
Yeah.
the crazy funnels and landing pages and all that stuff. So that's what I actually am doing now, where I'm helping people create an online community that they can monetize, and I teach them that system.
I think it's a perfect time to lead people to their people. So, what's a group or multiple groups? Because I know you're the best at like putting people in a place. Like I think it's Facebook groups primarily, and then yeah, you essentially start to experience what Stacey's talking about. So, tell us where we can go.
Yeah, so go to dothethingcommunity.com. That'll lead you right to my Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, then follow me on Instagram or YouTube. It's Do the Thing Formula.
I love it. All right, so won't mention that again at the end. But so, Stacey, I'm curious now about like, and you kind of chuckled at this earlier when I was like, the flowchart side of things. Like, how do you keep yourself in the game? I mean, especially you right now as someone who is, you found your voice. You have this podcast that it's well over 200 episodes, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're a veteran now. Like that's definitely a veteran. And I mean, you're doing a lot, and you've sold a business. You ran a company for 20 years prior to that. So it's like, have you landed on a framework, or at least like, do you have some go-to ways to keep yourself balanced or content with work, with life, so you keep showing up with that fire to actually keep expressing and growing?
Yeah, I mean, I have strategies. So one is the voice note strategy. So if I'm ever stressed, I call it a venting voice note.
I like it.
Then it helps get all the thoughts out of the head, and then I just delete it.
Oh,
So
you don't
yeah,
listen to it or anything?
no,
You
and
just
unless I need to process it, I might listen to it to see if I'm really crazy or
yeah, yeah,
like what's going on. But it helps me a lot. It also helps me with strategy. I just like to get all the noise out of my head, and it's just an amazing. And I'm not a journaler, so this is my, I think, form of journaling
yeah.
too.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I love hiking, I love biking, I love massages, like all that stuff. Those are my strategies. But honestly, like when I'm in the middle of something that I love and it's so exciting that I wake up and I want to do it, it is so hard, for me
mm,
to have that balance. So it is something I'm constantly really working on and having to remind myself, because I don't think I have a strategy for that yet. Like, so if I miss my workout in the morning, it's
yeah.
done. I don't get to do the workout. So I have to really be habitual in order to be able to do those things that really reset me.
So you're pretty structured then, it sounds like, right? Like it's structured in your day, and if you miss it because you're probably too focused on something,
Yeah.
you're just like, screw it, just doing this anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
I think it's pretty common. That's why I bring this up for the podcast, because everybody has their own ways of doing things, but we're all driven. And then when we're
Yeah.
driven, like our focus just goes into like do the thing, especially if we have a plan.
Yeah, this is really important actually. I'm glad that you said that, because something I did learn from my staffing company that I do apply now no matter what is anytime I'm feeling exhausted,
Mhm.
um overwhelmed or anything, I used to just hustle through and just keep pounding at it. Now I give something space
Mm.
and I say, okay, I'm going to just like leave this alone for a day and then see how I feel. So I think that's really important. If you're in the middle of walking through a fire, of just stress and pressure and you can't get out of it, then you being able to actually just be like, it's going to be okay. I
Yeah.
could just take the day and come back to it tomorrow, because I guarantee you feel differently, and then you get a different perspective and you're able to like reflect on it. That I am really good at, because
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't do that when I had my staffing company. I felt like everything felt like an emergency, but when I realized when I exited, I'm like, all these things that I thought were emergencies. I mean, people were going to live, It's like just someone
Yeah.
might not have showed up for a job, It was like that was the only thing.
But for you as the owner of the company, or
Yeah.
the one that has that responsibility, you're like, it's like it's gotta be done now. Your
Yeah.
brain just doesn't close that loop, right?
Exactly.
That's a great feedback, and it's a good reminder to myself, and that's why I love well, I love to just like go horizontal, just lay on the ground, lay on the bed, and it's like take 10 minutes, even if it's like throughout the day. I feel like that just connects things, or go on a walk, like you said, walk,
Mhm.
bike, whatever. Like it just starts to everything comes together. Perspective is different than staring at a screen and pounding away, and you know answering the next email, trying to think like that's the solution, but typically not.
Yeah. I know. I wish I would do it when, when you get something and you're heated.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think just taking that minute then, right? Because you think you have to be able to handle all of that stuff, but you can actually just take a break.
yeah, take a break.
Yeah.
That's a good
Don't do the thing.
you just said that, what? That's on recording, Stacy.
Do the thing, but do the thing in relaxing.
Yeah, ooh, I like it. Yeah, I mean, we all are able to relax, and even if you don't think, like, it's just like us driven types, there's just something where it's just like tenacity, just like keep going. um
Yeah.
but yeah, it's that's good reminder, so thank you. And I guess like at the end of it now, like, is there anything that you're finding yourself like being super pumped up with, like you're I'm starting to ask this, like anything that you're obsessed about learning, or just excited and giddy, that's kind of, it could be totally irrelevant from the do the thing and all that, or it could, maybe it's not. I'm just curious.
I just love helping. And it's funny, I'm not a coach. So at my whole formula thing, it's like a system. So I call myself more of like I don't actually call myself anything, but I feel like I'm more of an implementer. But like, so when I'm saying this, it sounds coachy, but it's like, I love getting to see people unlock something, but it's because
Cool.
of the system is what it happens. And they don't think they can do something. And then all of a sudden, because they went an inch, they do it, you know, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden in 17 days, 20 days, whatever the challenge is or program, they're literally a different person because normally somebody will be trapped because there's people that, and for people, I'll do it so that people could hear it, but there's all these people that want to go from like, I'm using my hands, but like
Mhm.
basically from like one end to another end, right? And most people think they have to go that entire length, right?
Mm.
They think they
Yeah.
have to go that whole way. They don't realize they could just go 1 inch and then 1 inch and then 1 inch. So whereas most people, if they think they have to go all the way to the end, they're going to be paralyzed and they're not going to move. Whereas the person that goes an inch and then they go another inch, they're going to be like in a whole nother transformational place because they've been moving and they're in momentum that whole time. And that really just gets me so excited is to see that process because the person that might have been paralyzed by fear, perfection, and all that stuff before is now able to do the things they want because they've been kind of making these micro steps.
Well, it sounds like it's close to your heart, you know, and I know it is. It's like, yeah, and then you can see other people doing it based off of this concept you came up with, and really, it's micro actions, micro. It's like it doesn't have to be perfect. Just take action, and then take action again because you're going to keep iterating it, learning, and yeah, it's like we're constantly leveling up what we know. So it's like it's a new beginning every time, and just keep going, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. Well, cool, Stacey. So, I mean, definitely go check out her community at dothethingcommunity.com. And also shout out your website, your podcast one more time.
It's Do the Thing, and you could find it on Apple and Spotify or go to dothethingpodcast.com.
I'm very happy we did this. We made this happen. I want to go jump in there and definitely go join the group. Stacey, you're also helping people launch podcasts and do that kind of stuff. So I know we'll be collaborating probably in our little mastermind community I was telling you that I have. So yeah. So if you're in there, go have fun and meet Stacey. And if not, well, let me know and maybe we'll get you in there. And definitely, you know, if you're watching, go hit subscribe on the YouTube button, wherever that is. Go follow, like, leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought about this, and I appreciate you. So, next time.